If you've been looking for a little insight on how to paint cabinets, then check out this video because I'm going to show you how we went from this to this in just a few days. I'm also going to go over the question of whether you should or shouldn't use primer, what to do when you get paint runs, and some crucial spraying techniques. But before we get into that, real quickly, let's go over what's most important, the prep work. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on the prep work. I just really want to stress the fact that if you didn't sand things properly and clean the wood properly, that even the best painter with the best product is not going to get a good finish. And if you're not 100% sure on how to prep your cabinets, just check out some of the other videos. I go into a lot of detail as far as sanding and stuff like that. All right, so let's get into it. So for the first tip of this video, when you go to spray your small surface areas first. You can tell in this clip that I'm spraying all the inside parts of the face trim, the hard to reach areas. The reason I'm doing this is that if you spray all your big surface areas first and then you try to get your hard to reach places, what's going to happen is you're going to end up spraying a lot of extra paint on the big surfaces, and then you're going to get some paint runs. Now, if you're wondering what rig I'm using and what primer I'm using an X5 Magnum airless sprayer. It does about 3,000 PSI. It's pretty easy to use. For the primer, I'm using Sherwin-Williams Premium Wood and Wall Primer. Now, for all the pros out there, I'm not saying that this rig is the best. It's clearly not, but it is budget friendly and it works well enough. As for the primer, this is actually my first time using it, but it went pretty well and I was pretty happy with the results, as you can see right here. So you've got everything primered, everything's looking pretty good, but you're wondering, what do you do next? Let me show you. After your primer is good and dry, we're going to take some 220 grit sandpaper and just give it a nice light sanding. We're not trying to take the primer off, we're really just trying to slick it up real good. This is also a good time to go ahead and check for any flaws. As you can see here, if there's any light cracks or holes in the wood, we're going to go ahead and fill those up. And since we're on the subject of primer, let's go ahead and talk about that. So some people might wonder, should I primer or shouldn't I? Well, in my opinion, I believe you should. Some paint's going to come with primer in it already, and that's fine, but the reason I like to primer more than anything is that the primer is going to really highlight any of those flaws that we talked about, and it's just going to give you a chance to go ahead and touch anything up before you put your first coat of paint on it. Here we are doing our first coat of paint. I would say the only difference to me between primering and paint is that I'm a little bit more cautious with how much I put on. I am a big fan of doing multiple light coats. The likelihood of you getting paint runs is a lot less. But keep watching, because here in a minute I'm going to show you what we do when we get paint runs. If you're watching me spray these doors and you're thinking to yourself, that's an interesting way, it kind of is. I'm used to spraying in a two-car garage. I've gone over this before, but I didn't have a lot of space, and so I had to figure out a way to get everything painted at the same time. If you'll notice, the doors are resting on some trim pieces that are cut at 45 degrees, so there's very little contact. But if you have a turntable and a drying rack specifically for cabinet doors, that's going to be ideal. I mean, spraying these flat is going to be a lot easier. Now for drawers, personally, I don't know of a different way of doing this. I've been doing this forever and it works pretty well. I just lay the drawer flat, spray it, and then stand it up and spray a good coat on the face. Now I do understand that a lot of people don't paint the inside of boxes or drawers, but I do get this requested a lot, so this is pretty common for me. Here's a quick shot of how it looked after the first coat, and next I'm going to show y'all what we do with paint runs. So inevitably, sometimes you're going to get paint runs, sometimes your gun's going to spit, and you're going to get stuff like this. Now, this is a very small example of this, but regardless, it's the same. So I like to use a little putty knife, and I'm going to try to lightly scrape off the bulk of the paint run. Once you've got most of it scraped off, we're going to take our 220 grit sandpaper, and we're going to sand the rest of it. And there you go. Once we spray our next coat, it's going to be good as new. So as we're wrapping up this video, I just figured I'd show y'all a quick look after everything got painted and installed. I appreciate y'all checking it out. Thank y'all for all the support, and I hope these videos bring some value to y'all, and we'll see you next time.